Everyone always talks about finding their person, the one that they'll marry, the one they're going to do life with, build a future alongside, all the things, right? But there's one main reason why a lot of relationships fail after marriage, right? Or at least even being together in a long term committed relationship, why they don't wind up lasting. And the reason is so many people are not marrying their best friend, right? They're marrying the person that, set a spark in them the most, the one that they had the most passionate, loving experience and romance with. All wonderful things and things we need. Don't get me wrong. If you're going to have a romantic relationship that's going to last, you need the romance in it. You need to have chemistry, you need all these things. But how can a foundation of a long term, forever type of relationship work if it's not first built on the foundation of friendship, right? And let alone it being just friendship, your best friend. If I'm gonna do life with you, you better be my best friend. And so, whenever so much of the glue that brings you together is, chemistry and vibes and similar interests, but a whole bunch of lust and the romance and the lovey things, right? Then now you have all the romance, but you don't necessarily have the foundation of connection required for sustainability for the long term. If your partner is not your best friend, your foundation is more likely to be a lot weaker, right? It's not going to be the frame you need to propel you forward into what you want to have in the future in a romantic, married, and long term sense. We all know long term relationships or marriage are about more than just love, right? That's the glue that you need, right? And all the passion and all the things. That's the glue and the spark that keeps that romance alive. But it's always built on a foundation of emotional safety, right? Of understanding, shared language, and all that are big components of just friendship, right? I mean, think about the best friend you think of. Because look, if you ask most people, who's your best friend? Most are going to probably say the person they grew up with since they were 3 years old, or the person they've known for 30 years or what have you, right? They're not going to say their partner at first. Now, let me be fair here. I know when you ask that question of best friend, most people start thinking platonic instantly. So you think of the closest person to you, maybe outside of your partner. I get that. But if you were to clarify, no, 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 I mean, your lover included, who's your best friend, there's still a good number of folks out there, a good number of you that would say, oh, that's my homegirl or my homeboy that I've known since I was in Pampers, right? And from my perspective, that becomes a artery issue in some ways. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because notice, when you have a friendship that is deep, that is not a romantic one, it's platonic, all the lovey-dovey stuff is stripped out of the equation, right? All of the, romantic gestures and all the things that can easily get you wrapped up in the passion and the lust of things. So now, in order for that relationship to be sustainable and last and be stronger and become deeper and all the things the way it does with you and a best friend for all the years that you've been friends and all the things, you have to come to understand how each other operates. You have to know your friend like the back of your hand. You have to get each other. You have to be able to speak that same lingo. You have to know how to support each other whenever it's needed most. That's exactly how, when you have that best girlfriend or that best homeboy, it winds up becoming a situation where you'll share anything with them, right? Your deepest secrets, darkest secrets, whatever you want to say, right? You'll open up to them about things and you'll rely on them as a support system. And so, one of the big keys that tells you that you're investing or you've built your best friend funnel, if you will, to the wrong individual, if you have a person you're planning to do life with, is if your first instinct is to go to your friend whenever you're having an issue instead of your partner, big sign, right? If there's things that you've told your best friend, right, you'll tell them that you never tell anyone or that you never even shared with your partner, artery issues here. If I can't be that level of vulnerable, open, and just honest and transparent and living my truth with the person I'm going to lay next to every night, right? And I'm willing to do that with someone that I just maybe grown with, do you not see an issue there? Now, I'm not saying you should go marry your best friend, right? And, the person that's in the friend zone, go marry them, right? No. Obviously, you love your partner, right? But you got to really ask yourself, whenever you are in emotional pain, who do you go to first? Is it your partner or is it that best friend, right? Who knows your unfiltered truth? If it's not your partner, why? You really got to answer that for yourself, because not having the answer to that is exactly how people have the conditioning to where whenever they're going through something difficult with their partner, they run to their best friend first to talk about it, get it off their chest, talk through it. And then what do you wind up doing? You wind up talking to a person, maybe they're an amazing person in your life, that is not the person that can help you solve the issue, right? The only one person you can actually bring the resolve to with this whole conflict you may be going through is the actual person you have the conflict with. And then what happens? You start venting to them, and because look, we usually don't go running to our best friends or whatever to just talk about how happy we are in our relationships and talk about all the amazing things. Yes, you may share stuff, but you're not always giving these reports. You usually go to them when you're going through the painful moments, right? When you need to vent and bounce something off of somebody. And then here's what happens. When you're doing that, the more consistently you do that, it's a negative experience, right? You're bringing a negative perspective. You're hurting, so your friend cares for you. They don't want you feeling that way. And all they're hearing is the bad stuff. And even though your friend may know your partner to a degree, they'll never know them like you. So now you have your best friend trying to give you counsel and advice about your partner that they don't have all the facts about. They couldn't. They don't know their perspective fully, all the things. But that's a byproduct of you investing more in a foundation of friendship in your platonic friend than you have your actual partner you're doing life with that should be your true best friend. And let's think about it. It makes perfect sense, right? You go to your friend first when you're going through all your things, even the stuff with your partner, because you're comfortable with them, right? You've always been real with them. And why have you? Because you've always felt safe to, right? It's been a safe space, a safe place to go, all the things. But you give more of a filtered version to your partner. See something wrong or off with that dynamic. If you can't confide most in your partner more than anyone else, then how will you ever navigate the most difficult conflict, parenting situations, or even pain? How do you get through the toughest stuff if you're not building the muscle and the foundation of friendship with the one person that you want to be able to do that stuff with the most? But you've built it in someone that's outside a relationship, someone that is not going to grow old with you in a way that you want, right? In that companionship way that's romantic and has all the, life building things, right? Got to really start asking yourself that. People outsource emotional needs, then complain about disconnection. You vent to your friend instead of working things out with your partner. You get advice from your bestie about the person they don't really even know. You emotionally turn away from your partner, then wonder why intimacy disappears. You cannot have emotional loyalty outside of your relationship and expect to have deep emotional connection inside it. See, friendship and romance feel so rare because people prioritize spark over substance. They want all the butterflies, but skip the boring conversations. They don't build the friendship. They assume chemistry is enough. But spark fades, friendship deepens. So ask yourself, do I know my partner's inner world? Do they know mine? Start sharing your random thoughts, your childhood memories, deep fears, your daily stressors, just the way you would your platonic best friend. You have to make your emotional language fluent between you two. You don't have to force it, but you do have to prioritize it. When your partner truly becomes your best friend, love becomes much easier to keep, I promise. Romantic love without friendship is temporary. But when love is rooted in deep trust, safety, fun, and genuine emotional connection, now that's something that will last a lifetime. So honestly ask yourself, Is my partner my best friend? If not, why not? And why would I want to build a life with them? And if they're not your best friend, ask yourself, what would need to happen in order for them to be my best friend? Great $1 million questions to ask yourself if you really want to plan and build a life with this person. If you need help building that friendship foundation to make sure that your romance can stand and last through the test of time, then email or DM me the word coaching and we will get to work as long as you're truly ready to put that work in. Let's get it.